Miley Cyrus, who's been in that seat so many times. I feel like you've sat in that seat over the generations.
I definitely have. I think I've been here with no teeth, with braces on my teeth, probably in a Hannah wig at some point. My grandmother, who now has passed, who was your girlfriend, is what she told us all.
Tanya, do you know this?
Yeah.
That my
Okay,
grandma
all right.
came here. My grandma's had the same glasses since 1960. They're they're hot pink with diamonds everywhere. And my grandma walked in, and Ryan said, "Who's the hottie with Miley?" And she took that to the very last day that she was Ryan's girlfriend. So that really was a nice family moment.
I know my lane. I know my lane. right?
Exactly.
So, by the way, what does it, just speaking of different generations, your grandma, yourself being here over the years, what does it mean to you to have fans of so many different generations now? My niece, 6, like she knew you were coming on. She was excited. My mom knows you're here. She's excited.
Well,
What's that like?
I was just talking actually to Dolly this morning about that because
Dolly Parton.
She called me. She's got her new Broadway play that's premiering in Nashville and then going to New York. And she just shows you that you can never stop evolving and changing and exploring your lanes. And I think that's how you really keep a relevant career, is that you just are always growing with the audience. And when I see young people that weren't even around when Hannah Montana was on air, it's, very meaningful because they don't know me just from the show. They know me as Miley. They actually don't know me as Hannah. But there's a longevity and a loyalty with my fan base that's definitely, reminiscent of how Dolly has been with her fans.
Dolly Parton. I mean, this is like royalty, not just music, royalty, all entertainment, like planet royalty.
And she's, loved for her. And even though there's a characterization of Dolly Parton, she is loved as, as a real human that's underneath all of the drag, which, that's all what it is. We all have our own sense of an alter ego or a drag queen or our own Hannah Montana that makes us feel powerful.
Miley Cyrus here. I was thinking back, because we have not talked in a while here on the show. I was thinking back to when you won your first Grammy, right? It was 2024. You won your first Grammy. You sang, you dropped the mic. I remember Oprah singing along, John Legend
was
on his
iconic.
feet. Right? To me, that was like a moment, if I'm you, thinking, holy, that just happened.
Well, no one can tell me anything now because Oprah sang along to my song.
She sang Flowers.
Now I'm done. So now anyone tries to tell me anything, pass the salad. Well, Oprah sang to Flowers, so maybe not.
Did you know her before?
I was on Oprah when I was younger. We did an
Right, in
episode
Chicago.
where I got to perform with Joan Jett for the first time because it was idols meeting their idols. So I've known her from then, but she wasn't, someone that I can't say that I know Oprah, but I don't know if any of us ever will, which is the allure. I don't really want to know. I don't want to know Oprah.
Totally.
I don't want to know Cher. I don't want to know my queens.
No, but watching the cutaway, it stuck with me to this day. A cutaway of you singing your first Grammy. She's singing along, and John Legend's on his feet at the end of it. Was like, done.
Honestly,
I did
Chrissy
it.
and John were keeping me going because they were singing along, such good energy. I was so nervous. I still get anxious in situations like that. And just seeing her, I mean, the Grammys is...
That makes me happy in a way.
Yeah.
That's top tier. That's, everyone in the audience is the best of the best. So you're not just performing for... Like, if you have bad pitch and you're just playing a show in Kansas, 90% of the audience will have no idea that you have bad pitch. But if you're sitting at the Grammys, you know damn well that Beyonce's like, that was good, but it was pitchy. And, you don't think I'm doing it. I do have an ear where I'm enjoying someone's show, but I'm also kind
Right,
of
up or
like,
off.
I'm just listening. And so a regular audience doesn't do that in the way that these professional best of the best singers do.
Well, I'm curious then, what do you do to overcome it? Like when you get nervous like that in a pressure moment, what do you do?
Do it anyway. The things
Just
that
go.
you do that you're afraid of are, they're the things that really the challenges really do change you. And I have something in my mind that is really my mantra, and it's don't run away. And even in this moment, talking with you all, I always have a moment before because this is not, as much as this is a part of my life, and it's been a part of my life for a long time, my day-to-day is kind of much more regular and kind of, just humble in its own kind of normalcy of my life, and I've designed it that way. And so when you're in these kind of situations that everyone, like I said, has a version of themselves that's a performance, and you want to be honest, but you also, all of us perform in a way of protection. So I tell myself, don't run away. And usually it all settles. And to feel really nervous or to feel butterflies or anxiety is completely normal when you're performing for Oprah and Beyonce. So you just go, it would be weird if I wasn't nervous.
It wouldn't be human.
And
if
you
not.
settle in.
Congratulations on the Grammy with Beyonce, too.
Thank
so
you.
Miley and Beyonce obviously won a Grammy after her first one. And she's in Paris. Beyonce's on. You're Paris. You're doing a show in Paris. Beyonce's on stage, and she brings out Miley as a surprise.
I invited
to
myself.
the crowd. How did it happen?
So I was in Paris already, and me and everybody else wanted to go to the Beyonce show in Paris. But again, I'm just because I am Dolly's goddaughter, I can't do anything for fun. I have to turn it into work.
It's got to be a project.
It's got to be a project. So yes, I want to go to the Beyonce concert, but I don't want to watch. I want to be a part of it. So I get to do both. I got to be a part of it, and she's everything that you would want her to be. Up close, personally, rehearsals. She is, meet your heroes when it comes to Beyonce because she
puts the work in.
everything.
She puts the work in.
She puts the work in. She's super, kind of warm with everybody, makes everybody on the crew, feel as valuable as they are. And then the show after that is one of the best shows, if not the best, I've ever gotten to see live. I mean, of our generation, I think she's probably is the top tier best performer that we have today.
Totally.
Well,
I saw you
Ronnie's
gagging.
sleeves fell off.
I
His
see
sleeves
you
fell
gagging.
off from that show. He was there. He happened to be
Paris?
following.
I was
He,
there.
he was following
Word.
Beyonce. He saw you come out, and Ronnie, take us into your head in that moment.
It was the craziest thing ever. Like, even when she started the show, she was like, "We have a very special show for you." And I was like, something's happening. Because it's like, I've seen the show at that point, was my third time seeing it. So I was like, something special is happening. And I saw you did an interview saying, "Hey, if I do come out with Beyonce, I want to come out in Paris." So I was like, okay, Miley
I'm
just...
always planting seeds.
Yes, you planted the seed.
Dang.
So you're like, okay, I want to come out in Paris. So I was like, okay, she has 3 nights in Paris. I'm at night 1. What are the chances Miley's coming out? I saw all over Twitter, they were like, Miley's coming, Miley's coming. I was like, I don't want to get my hopes up just in case. And then literally I'm there on the floor. And you appeared. It was so crazy.
You appeared out of thin air, Miley.
Well, truly, by that riser,
Yes.
And I love, because I think that's a real testament to her and, her support. Confident women don't compete. And so that's why both of
Amen.
us get to stand there in our own lane and just celebrate each other. I'm not insecure. She's not insecure. So together we can be really powerful. And I thought that it was, kind of metaphorical that she gave me her riser, because that's the way that women that support others, that's what you do, is you go, how can I make your entrance something that is really special and gives you all the power? And that wasn't, something that I was always given, in the past. And so that just, it always
That's interesting.
reminds
that
me.
someone or people did not do that for you.
Well, I think
right?
too, it's when you're a guest, everyone
You're
knows
the
it's
a
Beyonce
guest
show and I'm
star,
the
right.
guest, and they kind of give you
Right.
this guest entrance. And
Just
with
to
Beyonce-
remind you, this is not your show.
Exactly, as if I didn't know, as if I'm
Yeah,
not the
like, I
one,
get it.
riding
I
a
get it.
horseshoe around 90,000 people. Like, I got it. But it just shows. I really thought that was just a true kind of testament to the kind of woman that she is.
Miley Cyrus spending some time, very important day, very big day. The visual album from Miley Cyrus, Something Beautiful, is out on Hulu and Disney Plus.
Yes,
Exciting.
very.
All right, so approaching a visual album versus making an album, what's the difference?
Well, I've always been inspired visually when I'm making a record, but you don't always make, a piece like this. And for many reasons, of which I learned the hard way on this one. Not only is it a lot of work, but to make everything interesting and tell the stories within a reasonable budget is a new challenge that, because I'm a big dreamer, which means you need deep pockets for that. And when I really actually kind of started to minimalize the idea and the concept, it became more pure, because I think sometimes, especially in my past, I've allowed the concepts or maybe even it's, the kind of the controversy that surrounded an album or something kind of eclipse the music itself. And so by creating something that is extravagant and we hope to be really beautiful, it's also really simple and kind of minimal. And I think that gave the platform and the stage to the music, which doesn't always come first. So that was kind of an important pillar that we kept, structurally integral, that the music comes first.
And in starting the visual album, you've got the prelude from her album as well, and the metaphors that are in that prelude, and one of which starts with, like when following an image from a train, your eyes can't keep the passing landscapes, and it goes on. So, curiously, how did you distill it down to those metaphors in that direction from the top, from the beginning?
Well, I knew I wanted to open the movie with prayer, because I think no matter what you believe in, or separate from spirituality or religion, I think, anytime the world, we come together and we say a piece or a prayer together, I think that's really the most powerful changes and movements that we make. And so I knew that I wanted to open my film with a prayer. And as I kept, writing that, and I felt it's really what the world needed at that time. The final line, "The beauty one finds alone is a prayer that longs to be shared," is this is kind of a silly story, but I went to, I did some meditation at a monastery, and I noticed that it was a very kind of individualized and isolated experience, that everyone was praying, obviously, quietly to not disturb the rest. Right. And I kind of thought, if you're so, if you've got this wisdom and this enlightenment, to me, I'm the person that wants to whisper to the person next to me and communicate and connect. And so I thought, I like what they've got going on here, but if I was to have my own monastery, I would make it not silent, because I feel that's very me, that I think it's important, to be able, and I get that you don't want to disrupt or interrupt someone else's kind of like, personal journey that they're on, but I'm the one that wants to tell you about my journey immediately.
Did you interrupt anyone on this meditation, or you held it to yourself?
I did hold it to myself. I did not want to. Everything in me was already jumping ahead, which is also what you're supposed to not be doing in a meditation. You're not supposed to be writing your next movie or album. Yeah, you're not supposed to be doing that. But so I did not disrupt, but I thought, if I ever had the Miley Monastery, this would be, the house rules would be a little different.
Could you ever do a silent retreat?
I actually have that on my list of to-dos, because
wow.
I've learned too that sometimes things don't have to be so drastic, that you can do something. Usually these retreats are 3, 5, 7, 10 days. You can really make these really big, powerful shifts in your life over these times that they're kind of more condensed and intense.
What's a reasonable amount of time you would?
I think 10.
Think you could 10 days?
10
of
is
silence?
nice. Yeah, 10 days of silence is good.
You could do 10 days.
You don't know this part of me, but I actually do really enjoy my alone time. And I think I spend so much of my time performing and entertaining and projecting that actually I really crave like kind of silence and alone time in my own time.
No, I get that. I don't
10
talk
I can do.
after this.
10
I'm
I can
done.
do because I'd be with my favorite person having my favorite conversations with myself. Which then I'm all good, because no one says nothing about.
Scary part.
You talk to yourself.
I do, but
and
I
I'm
don't
into
wanna hear
me. Like I think I've made
days.
that pretty clear. I like it. I'm into her.
All right. Well,
I'm picking up what she's putting down. I'm down to spend time with me.
Wow.
But I
Well, I
think
gotta get there.
that's maybe the part of the isolation that they want you to question is, how okay are you with you? And I'm good with it. I like it.
yeah, I'm starting with 10 hours with all these voices in my head. Miley Cyrus here, the visual album. So, what was your when you saw it when? When did you see the whole thing edited together? I'm sure you saw it along the way.
Piece by piece. I was in the editing room,
Yeah.
and I did every minute, sitting creating this together. But to actually see it at Tribeca, I think was the moment that it felt the most real, sharing that with, the audience. And the album had been out, so the audience was singing along. And I was kind of inspired by Wicked, because I remember that everyone was really annoyed when everyone was singing along in the theaters. And I thought, I want that. I want the annoyance of the person, sitting next to you to be singing louder than I am, because I love the communal part of music. And I think with our isolated experiences like streaming and, so much music is being taken in on headphones. It's so isolating. It's so personal that, growing up, going to a record store with my brothers and sisters and my friends and buying an album and going back in the car and listening to it together, we really had this time that we all heard. I heard Hit Me Baby One More Time for the first time with a car full of people.
Right.
And all of us knew that it was special. And when you have a moment like that in music, it's really, really special, which is why I think still being a part of the radio is just so important, because I remember so much music that I've heard for the first time I remember Rihanna didn't even exist. I didn't even know what it was until I was on my way. I'll never forget. I was on my way to school, and Rihanna came on the radio. It was the first time I had ever heard her before. And that changed me.
Were
Hearing
we
Yeah.
here? If you were in school and we were here, it's probably
it was
the case, right?
the first song, The Ballad Murder.
Oh.
Yeah,
Her
dark.
first-
I was
I
like,
think she was here.
I don't
think she
want to
was
do
here.
this anymore.
Yeah,
I
she
don't
was
want to
here.
be
You
the
were listening
reason
to us.
why. That
I'm
was
guessing-
playing. I was in my nanny's,
I
my
remember when
my
she was here, she
babysitter's
was
little
there.
Buick, and I was on the way to the Champagne Buick, pulling up to school, listening to Riri, and it was
Unfaithful.
everything. And I was a gag for Unfaithful. That's the song.
Yeah.
And
I
now that
remember she came in.
and
we
now
met
when
her
I
then.
see her like today, I remember that moment. And the young kids today, they won't get some of the experiences that I got to get with the radio because I even called and requested. I might have even called. I think it was maybe even before you.
Really? You called Rick Dees then?
I did. I
may
was
have
in
called
Nashville,
Rick
and I
Dees.
kept calling until someone answered the phone. And then I got too freaked out, and I made
By the way,
my
me
nanny
too.
do it.
I called him as well, and I got freaked out because I wanted to come be a DJ after him. On
I
this
got
show,
too
on this
scared
radio,
to
on this
hear
station.
my voice on the radio. Yeah.
Oh no. Well, you overcame that.
Yeah, that was
Now,
fine.
Miley, you talk about you're good with yourself. You're good with the head. Do you hear a lyric that you wrote, and when you hear it, every time you go, "God, I am a genius." With that lyric.
I really like the More to Lose lyric. My tears are streaming like our favorite show tonight, which I thought was maybe going to be very cringe. But the reason that I wrote it, I thought it was either so modern that it was going to be cringy, or it was going to be like Call Me by Blondie. Because when I think about, what Call Me means now historically, and you imagine telephone booths and, that what Call Me meant at that time, that's what streaming is today. Us calling each other, streaming. It kind of puts it in a nice time capsule, I think.
Yeah.
Do you listen to you when you exercise?
When I exercise. No, I don't listen to me necessarily when I exercise, but I do shamelessly listen to myself sometimes when I'm driving to Malibu.
Just to Malibu.
Yeah, that's because it's like an hour drive because I make bodies of work, okay? I don't make singles. So
No,
I need to listen to
cannot
the
do
entire
this for
album
one
top
exit.
to bottom.
This is
okay?
not one exit. This is an LA County to Orange County.
And I'm not looking at my
album.
phone while I'm driving. I'm not skipping around. So I put on
Right.
one album, top to bottom. I listen to ESV. I listen to Dead Pet, Something Beautiful. But, I don't have time to thumb through my faves. I listen to the body of work.
Do you listen to Malibu while driving to Malibu?
I
Yeah,
listen
you
to
would.
Malibu sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
But see, I have
You'd
too many
have to.
production notes that sometimes I can't listen to my own music because I can't
Oh my
enjoy it without
God.
Isn't
making
that right?
notes.
It
yeah.
wasn't perfect. Did they have to tell you stop working on it? We got to release.
Yeah.
Like, you could just
I
keep
will.
reinventing.
That's what I love most about streaming is that you can actually take songs down and replace them with new mixes, which I have done before. On Plastic Hearts, there's a song called "Hate Me," and I despised the mix. And I have swapped it out. So if you have the CD and you listen on streaming, they're completely different
No,
mixes.
she's coming
Same
to
thing
pick
as
that up.
Wild Card on ESV. CD streaming's different. There's a synth missing on the streaming at first, and then I replaced it. So I can't quit working on it.
I don't. Maybe this is like a term people don't like, but is it perfectionism? Is it wanting to just do the best you can? Like, what is that for you?
I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily a perfectionist because I do think that that's sometimes more of the beautiful things. Like I love a good distortion in the mix or something that you get to feel, but probably a sense of maybe obsessiveness. I'm a bit, a bit obsessive.
Quickly before you go, what's the lens you look through when you make a decision in your world? Like in your, I think in your creative world, in your work.
I would say meaning and time, to look at time from an overhead view and don't get too lost in today because today is yesterday and it all moves forward. And to me, I think, something about quality work, it's timeless. It's never going to go out of style. Dolly actually said today, she said, some call it old school. I call it old cool. And you keep it classic. And I don't
good
think that
advice.
quality and, devotion is ever going to go out of style.
Miley with the quotes today.
Come
I like it.
on.
We're going to go back
the
and listen to
Monastery.
ourselves. We're going to
Yeah.
go back and listen to ourselves of you after this show just to hear all of these thoughts again. All right, Miley Cyrus, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Visual album, Miley Cyrus, something beautiful. Hulu, Disney Plus today. I'll see you soon. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.